Hello and welcome to this edition of Business Spotlight. My name is Reza Kududuz from Action Coach, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Rob Glass from Hunston Partners. Hi, Rob.
Hey, good to be here with you, Reza.
Good to have you on the program. Rob is the MD of Hunston Partners, specializing in executive search and success search. Right? I hope I said that right. Tell us a little bit more, Rob.
Yeah,
Please fill the gaps. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, well, absolutely. We named our business, we branded our business an executive search and succeed firm. I've been in executive search and recruitment now for coming up to 20 years, and finding great people for organizations and finding great roles for people is a wonderful thing to do. And literally just before we came on air here, I saw a poll on LinkedIn about what creates the best companies. Is it people, innovation, technology, or other? And people was still the major point. And so finding the right people for your organization is fundamental. But we are really quite obsessed, not just with finding great people for your business, but also how we help support them succeed, both in the short and the long term. So we coined a phrase, search and succeed, which is in its purest form is executive search, is finding people, and succeed is coaching and training and cultural implementation for organizations and for people. But if you put the two together, they also make sense, because when we place somebody, we also provide executive coaching for them that's bespoke, that's tailor-made to them, on a pre-boarding and then an onboarding perspective. So they join a new organization, and instead of just starting cold in a new culture and a new environment, they'll do so with the aid of a coach, kind of supporting them beforehand and when they start.
Okay. So presumably you have to have some sort of insight into the company's culture that you're recruiting for, and making sure that they onboarded properly. Would I be right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the ideal scenario, of course, is the company inside and out. The ideal is that you also are able to spend a little bit of time with the hiring manager, the leader who this person's going to work for, so that they can prepare you for what this person will expect on month 1, on month 3, on month 6, etc. So that when we're coaching them, we can really prepare them accordingly.
Yeah. I can definitely see how that would really work and help, because the major difficulties for a new hire, both from their perspective, is the fitting in at the beginning and making sure that they can hit the ground running more or less as soon as they come in. So this is a kind of new idea, or a twist on an existing idea. What inspired you to start your business, and how did you get to the kind of this idea? How did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, I suppose it was, look, again, I've been doing it for some time. This is the second business that I've started in the recruitment game. We work globally at the senior end of the market in the digital technology and professional services space. And, we work with amazing people who, as I say, in their careers and in any walk of or any moment that you would look at them on LinkedIn, you would think, wow, they're amazing, and they do incredible things for their organizations, whether it's operational, commercial, from a sales perspective, C-suite level perspective. But ultimately, when it comes to it, people are still just people, right? And you can be the CEO of an organization, and especially the more senior that you are, the more complex that balancing life, work, family, all the aspects that your version of success, which we talk about a lot, need support. And so, it was really that innate desire to actually have some skin in the game when it comes to what it is that we're providing for people. And it's not just a case of, okay, Mr. Client, here's a person, here's an invoice, we'll see you on the next one.
You go, yeah.
Yeah, it's wanting to do more and actually help people really land well, and then support them for the long term.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously, you've been in business for a while and you've grown in that time. What do you attribute your growth to? Obviously, it's a new idea, but is there anything else that you would say that contributed to that growth and where you are right now?
No, look, I think ultimately the fundamentals of what you're doing, i.e., providing a great service, you know, providing for the clients what it is that they need in the most timely manner, but with quality, is something that will never really go away. You know, I think moving with the times and trying to embrace technology and AI is something that is right at the you know, the tip of our tongues all the time, and something that we're thinking about all the time as well as to how to embrace that. But it's, you know, the fundamentals of, you know, knowing really great people and knowing the type of place that might work for them and how to help support them in their career or their lives or whatever it is that they have needs for or challenges for at that moment, doesn't really change. So, you know, winning clients, building clients, being a great partner for clients, and being somewhere that people want to work as well is absolutely paramount.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I guess you know, there are learnings along the way as we grow our businesses and you know, face challenges. Have there been any learnings for you that you'd like to share? Anything that you'd say, you know, something that you've learned that has kind of shaped the way you think and you grow your business um that stands out and you would like to share with with our listeners?
When you say learning, you mean as in
You know, anything that you picked up that along the way, you know, anything you've learned growing your business and the challenges that you've overcome. It could be on any
yeah.
subject. Yeah.
I mean, look, there'll be plenty of them, right? You know, you learn every day as far as how you spend your time. You know, when you are an owner managed business like I am and my business is, and that in fact that's very rare that I even use the word my and I, because it's we and the guys that work with you know, as part of the business. I want them to feel like it's their business as well. I think providing a great platform, but also autonomy for people to thrive and do the best that they can do, and not feel like they're working in too much of a pressured, too much of a KPI driven environment that this industry has been historically known for, is something that you know, you need to get a good balance on for sure. But personally, you know, I'd definitely say that, you know, when you're starting a new business and you're being pulled, you know, in all different directions, because you are the CFO, the chief legal officer, the chief marketing officer, chief operating officer, you are chief revenue officer. You know,
You're
you're
wearing
doing
all the
all of these
hats.
different roles. Yeah, you're wearing loads of different hats. And so how do you find what it is that you do best? How do you then budget accordingly, so that you can invest in the right ways when it comes to growing the business? And I would say that, you know, I'm still learning that for sure.
So just going on from that, and actually you mentioned this before about time management, because we know for entrepreneurs that's a challenge, and managing your time within your work and also managing the time you spend with the family and friends and that side of it is something that you obviously put a focus on in terms of coaching the employees you place. How do you do that for yourself? How do you do that for yourself? Are there any tips that you'd like to share with us regarding that time management and also finding the balance between work and life?
I think it's a really difficult question, on the basis that everyone is different and everyone is in a different phase of their life, right? So, you know, someone could be listening to this who's in their 20s and they don't have a wife or kids or a husband or whatever
Yeah.
the case might be. And they have a different way of a different focus, a different drivers, I suppose, and also different responsibilities. You know, all I can say from my perspective is that you know, I think working smart and working to a degree where you are pushing yourself, right, but maybe not so much so that it becomes unhealthy, is absolutely important to get that balance right. And how you find that is, I suppose, a little bit of trial and error in many respects. But and I talk to people about this all the time. I'm not plugging my podcast, but we have a Search and Succeed podcast, right? And we talk to people all the time about their version of success, because the word success in most people's eyes is based around how much money they earn and how much they how well they're doing in business or how well they're being promoted. But fundamentally, that isn't what success truly means to each person. It means a whole variety of things, and it is completely bespoke to each individual. So what your version of success, Reza, is very different to my version, or it's different in some way to my version of success. But to answer your question, look, I really like to get a good balance of the time that I'm at work, which with the phone in my pocket is pretty much always, but also with being with my family as well, and trying to have some downtime where possible, and sport and all the rest of it.
And of course, you're in a game of recruitment, so you recruit for people all the time, and of course, you recruit for yourself. You have a team. What kind of qualities do you look for in your employees, and maybe could that be extended to the people that you hire for others? What are the qualities? What are the specifics that you think stand out for you that you look for?
I think it's easy to say it, but I think someone who's honest, right, who you can look at and go, you know what, we're going to have a pretty transparent, honest relationship here, both when things are going well and when things are going not so well. That I'm not going to have an issue with trust. And I think fostering a culture of trust is something that comes from the top, and is something that comes from whoever's leading the organization, right? And so, when it comes to hiring people in recruitment, I think there's three things that are really important. One is that you can see that the person understands the value of working smart and hard, but smart, right? The second is process. Process in our game is absolutely paramount. And the third, which is a little harder, I suppose, to teach or to train, but is emotional intelligence, which I think is absolutely important. That's critical. And so, I suppose when you factor in an interview process and the number of times that you meet with someone, I think if you can kind of tick off those subject headings, those four, if you like, of trust, process, working smart, and emotional intelligence, you're on the right path to the type of people that I'd like to work with, right? And and as far as people that we place within organizations, again, that ability to find the right type of individual that's going to fit into the culture of the organization is, again, probably the most critical element, because you can find a skill set that's being looked for. There's plenty of people, even at the senior end, that have a skill set, but ultimately, are they going to embody the values? Are they going to fit into the culture and the current people that they have? And again, you can't get that absolutely right, but again, it comes back down to that coaching implementation that implementation, sorry, that we provide to ensure that happens more seamlessly.
That's really good advice for anybody listening, because being in that kind of coaching area myself, recruitment is one of the key challenges for business owners, CEOs, and making sure that you look at the soft skill side of things, not just the skill, and how they fit into your organization is absolutely key. So Thank you for that. So I guess my final question is about, you and the business, the future of your business, and where do you see yourself in the next 3, 5, 10 years?
crystal ball time, right?
Yeah.
You know, the
Where
last,
would you like to be? Where would you like to be? I should
yeah,
ask.
I've got growth aspirations, Reza. You know, I feel like the work that we do is pretty unique in what, from a recruitment perspective, is a relatively saturated market. I think that what we do and how we think and our why is quite different to a lot of the other organizations in this space. And you know, in the most honest representation, but one that, you know, is not to sound too cringy, it's really important for us to just provide as much of what we can provide to as many organizations as we can on a global scale. We work as much in the US as we do in EMEA these days. The world is a small place, and you know, the more of that growth, you know, for me is really important. So I don't like to put numbers, I don't like to put figures, I don't like to put specifics, but as long as we're moving forward, that's what's really important.
Yeah, and I wish you all the success and the best of luck with whatever that point is for you, and as it changes over a period of time.
Thank you.
And really, thank you for the time you've taken today from your busy schedule. I really enjoyed our conversation, and there were lots of golden nuggets and things for people to take away, especially on the recruitment side. Of course, you've got a lot of experience. Yeah, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Reza. It's been fun talking to you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, same. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks.